Today is new gear day. I've been really wanting to get another backup to my backup to my backup to my other backup of my guitar, and a friend of mine really suggested a great budget brand called Firefly, and I took a risk getting that guitar, and I really did enjoy it for all of its failings. And people rave about these Fireflies. So here it is. Got her in today. We're gonna open it up. Let's find out if this Firefly is fantastic or is a fail. The first thing that I noticed right away is that the packaging is very similar to how the came. These made in China guitars all kind of seem to come in this smaller box, and then it has foam that has the guitar wrapped inside. The most awkward part is always getting this outside covering off. It sticks on everything and it hangs up. My first impressions of this guitar are, wow, what a beauty. It looked like it was a nice white on the site, and I was really hoping for a bright white, but it really pops in person. It's really impressive. The neck looks beautiful too. The roasted maple looks really, really nice. The site only said that it had stainless steel frets, not the ball-end frets, and I really like the ball-end frets after using them on my guitar, and it looks like this did indeed come with them. This Telecaster has the ashtray with the old school looking saddles in there, but they are brass. The only thing that's weird about this one is there's 1, 2, and the third one is way longer. I'm not really sure why. The back of the guitar is just as pretty. That neck really looks neat on the backside, even though nobody's going to see it. But I guess I'll see it, so I guess that kind of matters. The backside does not have a comfort cut for your belly, but it does have a nice cut here for your hand when you're playing the higher frets. And if you look closely right here, this part actually dips in a little bit, and I'll get a shot of it from the side so you can see it a little better. So that's nice. When you play up higher, it's going to be a little bit thinner, be easier to get to. This model has the locking tuners, which is really nice for when you're changing strings. It makes it a breeze to change. I've never really had a problem with regular tuners, but this is a nice upgrade. All right, now that I've got it out of the package and I've looked it over, some of my other observations are some of these screws do have a little bit of sharpness to them. It's not a big deal, but you can definitely feel it. And the frets are perfectly smooth, which is nice here, but they're really dull looking. It looks like they didn't get polished. All right, the first thing I like to do, if you see my other videos, is I actually like to play them unplugged. I get a lot of crap because I don't do an A/B test with the audio through my amp, but if a guitar sounds terrible unplugged, it's not going to sound good through your amp. So let's take a look and kind of feel. Oh yeah, those are real rough. Let me see if I can get that sound there. I don't know if that's coming across, but it kind of sounds like sandpaper. Like that's terrible. That's really bad. Yeah, the action's set really low, but I have my reservations. Let's take a look. Yeah, we already have mad buzz. Some people will say that Telecasters are supposed to have buzz, but no, that's just not right. There's always going to be a little bit of string buzz, but that's ridiculous. Just to show you an example, if I do the same thing on my ERT guitar, nothing. It's flawless, and I can get it to buzz. There's a little bit, but I have to really let up or have bad technique. All right, it's time to bust out my fret rocker. Let's find out how these frets actually are. This one is super bad. That one's terrible. Got one there. All right, so we took a short little break. I reached out to a friend of mine that got their Firefly, and they loved it and had no issues with. So I had him come over, and I decided to try his neck. We'll take a look at his guitar right now. And his neck felt 100 times better than mine. He had very smooth, like glass-like frets, and it played fantastic. And the action was actually lower than what I have on this guitar. But he suggested that we do a setup. I was kind of against it because it's got high frets. Like a setup's gonna just kind of be a band-aid. But so we went ahead and put a little bit of relief in there, and then I raised the action a bit. It still buzzes more than I would like. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to Firefly, and I'll see what they'll do. Maybe they'll send me out another one, and I can take another look and hope that it comes perfect like his did. But I figured before I send it back, we might as well get some sound samples. So even if I don't get the Firefly replacement, we at least kind of know what it sounded like before it went out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare this guitar to my actual Fender Telecaster to kind of see where they sit in the same ballpark or how different they are. I would put it up against the URT, but the URT has a humbucker pickup in there, so they're not even going to be close. For this sound test, I'm just going to use my Fractal FM9 going straight into Reaper. I'm going to use a slightly at breakup Fender modeled amp, and then I will use a Friedman for the distortion. Well, there you have it. That's what the two sounded like, kind of back to back. I know I didn't do a lot of crazy shredding, but I don't think you really need to do that to understand the tone of a guitar. My final review of this for right now is this thing looks absolutely spectacular. This neck came awful, and my friend's neck was perfect. It was like playing on glass. So I'm going to reach out to Firefly and see if they will ship me out another one to replace this one, and maybe I'll get the good neck. I will say that they do sound very similar. I do have noise in here because I do have lights in here. It's an older house, and there's other things that are going to interfere with my signal, but you can tell that it's not quite a one-for-one comparison because the pickups that are in the Fender one are the noiseless pickups, which are nice. I will say, as a gigging musician, I play in a cover band. I love budget guitars. And the only thing I can think of about this guitar is the only way that this could be so cheap is budget parts. And you can kind of see that. Like, this isn't perfectly shiny. This neck looks amazing, but I honestly wouldn't doubt if it's some sort of veneer in there. I'd really like to see somebody cut it apart. Maybe if I make enough off this video, I'll cut one of these apart. I'm sure the inside here is probably not the wood that they say it is, but honestly, I don't care. When I go to play a gig, I want a guitar that looks nice and plays great, and I'm not a big proponent of believing in tone woods, and all those little pieces do add up to a slightly different tone, but when I'm playing for a crowd, no one is going to hear that. So I feel much better spending less money and having something that's kind of tailor-made for myself than to spend $3,000 and have really nice wood and stuff. Now, I might get something like that and put it on my wall, but for gigging, these guitars aren't too bad. I'm going to reach out, like I said. I have my doubts if they'll reply because I've reached out to them before and they have not replied. But we will see what they offer me, and I will keep you guys in touch in the next... What? I'll keep in touch, and I'll let you guys know what I hear. Throw in the comments if you have purchased a Firefly and if you had the same problems I had with the neck or anything else, or if you got yourself a unicorn and you love yours. I'd love to hear both sides. Thank you so much for joining me on this video, and we'll catch you in the next one.